Hello, friends. A very good evening and welcome to the Ask FinBingo session. This side Nidhi Tanna. I'm a chartered accountant from the FinBingo team, and today we have Ajay Shah with us, who is an MBA in finance and a financial analyst at FinBingo. Hi, Ajay.
Hi Nidhi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, good.
All right. So, our today's session basically covers all the questions raised by our users and investors. These questions are around investing, tax plans, different investment products, and multiple other questions. So, should we begin, Ajay?
Sure, yeah.
All right. Starting with the first question, it is by Aishwarya. She asks that whether should I invest into ELSS or NPS, considering the short time span that I have, or are there any other better options to save tax?
Okay. If we are talking for the current financial year, that is, which is ending in current March 2021, there are hardly 4 to 5 days left, and considering the bank holidays as well. Hence, time is very crucial period over here. One should prefer or choose the products which are easy to understand and are easily available to them. For example, ELSS, PPF, or Sukanya Samriddhi scheme, for instance. For me, ELSS and NPS would be the two best options to choose on, as they help you in saving tax as well as they are well building products where you have opportunity to generate wealth in the long run. These two products are very important to ensure your goals and especially your life goals are achieved in the long run. That is 15 to 20 years of time period. If an investor, or for example Aishwarya over here, if she's searching a tax saving avenue for under section 80C of around rupees 1.5 lakhs, she can surely opt for ELSS as it helps in investing in equity and have a minimum lock-in period of 3 years only. And if she's looking for over and above 80C, she can surely choose NPS as one of the best solution. These products are easily available online through online advisor and distributors, also FinBingo, and it helps in achieving our aim of stay home and maintain social distance as well.
Right. So basically, if the bracket to be filled is ATC, then ELSS is the option. And if over and above ATC we are looking for, then NPS will be a good option, right?
Right, right.
All right, great. So now let's move to our second question. This is around NPS. This question is by Amaya. He asks whether NPS is a good investment option considering the lock-in period involved in NPS.
Okay, yeah. So I think many would disagree on with me on this because NPS is the product where your money gets blocked for a longer period of time, that is your retirement, which reduces your liquidity. But according to me, lock-in period in NPS is rather advantage towards you because it allows your money, the investment corpus, to grow at a patient level at predetermined investment strategy, which without any human biases or human behavior helps it to grow. First, we can think it is at a EPF level as well. Both are have a lock-in period till your retirement. So in the retirement, you get a passive source of income, annuity plan, where you can generate regular source of income. Secondly, it is also an alternative to EPF, alternate Employee Provident Fund, as there are various citizens in India who are self-employed or are in private organization where EPF is not an option or available. Hence, they can contribute to NPS and have a secure retirement where they will be having a regular income. Thirdly, it is a well-building approach. NPS is a market-linked product. Various they invest in various instruments like equity, debt, government bonds, etc. So their earnings would be extremely well than any fixed income instrument. Plus, it also provides you tax saving opportunity over and above ATC that too. So, lastly, saying to maintain your social security after retirement, to maintain your standard of living, it is one of the best product available in the Indian investment market as on date. So, for me, NPS is surely a good investment if you want to secure your retirement for sure.
All right. So the new pension scheme is the retirement product most suitable for all of us.
Right.
Okay. Moving to our third question that comes from Barkha. What is the Portfolio Doctor platform offered by FinBingo? So this revolves around FinBingo. Could you help us with that?
Sure, sure, yes. So we all go to doctor for our regular checkups and on regular basis. So we maintain our health well. Similarly, Portfolio Doctor is a doctor or a platform for our mutual fund investments, our mutual fund portfolio. It uses various parameters which are built into it to check your mutual fund portfolio and helps you to identify the funds in your existing portfolio which you should hold, buy, or exit. Basically, it guides you which funds you should be keeping in a portfolio or if you should exit out it out totally, considering various parameters. It also suggests to you mutual funds if which you act on. It can for sure improve your portfolio performance and increase your returns. Fund recommended in the Portfolio Doctor are best in class as they are back tested and they have outperformed the market in various difficult markets too. Ideally, Portfolio Doctor is something which one should use for identifying if there is any bad fruit in their entire mutual fund basket. The idea of Portfolio Doctor was generated way back in March 2020, near that, when the Franklin India closed their six debt funds. So, to identify such funds and investors are not in trouble later on, Portfolio Doctor was created with an intention to create a precautionary measure rather than a cure. The various parameters which we consider in Portfolio Doctors are like downside risk, cost return analysis, consistency in past returns, and various other parameters which helps us to come to a conclusion and provide a best alternative and solution to our investors.
Well, that's really interesting, Ajay. I didn't know that we even have a doctor for the portfolio, which could help us write in advance, and one will not be prey to the situations like what happened during past.
Franklin Templeton,
Yes,
right?
correct. So that's nice. Coming to our next question, that comes from Soman. He says, "What are your views on Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana?"
Okay. Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana was launched by Government of India specifically for girl childs, and it is definitely a very good tax saving product and also an investment product. It is best among the fixed income instrument as it provides 7.4% per annum return, which is the highest in all the available government-backed small savings schemes. Even in the age where we have economy of falling interest rates, where interest rate in a fixed deposits are around 5%, we know an investor can earn around 2.5% extra over year. But one need to be considering the factor that lock-in period would be very high. So, example, if a girl child is of 9 years, she need to wait for around another 15 to 20, 10 years for just to get the maturity amount for her any specific goals, that is education or her marriage. Counting of that, if we consider inflation over here and higher increasing education cost, marriage cost, guaranteed products can not only meet this demand, as ultimately they would be not growing at that space. One should look for a balanced approach. For by example, you should have a some amount of investment in Sukanya Samriddhi and also a portion in equity mutual funds to have a promising future for a girl child. A conservative investor for sure can choose SSY as it also provides tax saving avenues to a investor.
To summarize, Ajay, does it mean that even if my tax saving options are lapsed, one should invest in SSY?
Yeah, so if you are a conservative and a risk averse investor and you don't want to, and you already have basically invested in equity and other riskier assets, obviously SSY can be an option where you can balance your returns. But if there are, you can take much more risk, you should opt for ELSS for tax saving for sure.
Okay, that's good to know. Coming to our next question. This question is by Sanjay. He asks that is it advisable to invest in gold considering it has corrected by 20%?
Right. We Indians believe in gold too much, and as it is a protection against bad times, and our household have taught us that we should invest in it, right?
Yeah, very true. In fact, right from my ancestors, I think real estate and gold have been the only two investment products that everyone has heard and practiced.
Yes, right. But when we consider the return or the stability which this product as a gold as an asset class and investment, we see it's not a good investment product at all. For instance, if you see if someone has invested in December or November 2020 in gold, they might be having a return in negative as on date, that is minus 20%. So, and it has been just in 1 year's move. So, returns in this gold as an investment is not stable at all. But yes, if you see gold as an individual, it's not good. But when it comes to a portfolio, gold can stabilize it for sure. So if you see, having gold in your portfolio can act as a constraint against equity volatility. So we advise you should have around 10 to 15% of your proportion or corpus in gold. If you're looking gold as an option to invest, we would recommend you should select sovereign gold bond, as it is one of the best instrument available to invest in gold, and it is backed by government. It also pays you 2.5% interest per annum over and above of capital appreciation. That is for long term investors for sure. But as an investor, if you are looking for a shorter period of time and still wants to do investment in gold, you can select systematic investment plan in gold mutual funds.
All right. To sum it up, one should definitely have gold in its portfolio. And for long term, sovereign gold bonds is the solution. And for smaller proportions or short term, gold mutual funds can definitely be the way, right?
Yeah, yeah, it acts as a hedge against your any volatility in your portfolio.
Okay. So it is a safety
Yeah,
net that is available.
right.
Wonderful. We have two more questions from our users.
Okay.
Uh, the second last question that comes from Mrityunjay, it says that how should one select a mutual fund scheme? I guess this question is a very basic question that will help each and everyone, that how should one really select a particular mutual fund scheme? This would
Right,
be
right.
very helpful.
Yeah. So selecting a mutual fund in this thousands of mutual fund schemes which are offered is very difficult right now. If we see for a retail investor or a investor who have very basic knowledge of investment and is new to this investment world, as we see, mutual fund has been divided into various asset classes. There are various investment styles, various strategies. They all have different risk profiles as well, which definitely makes it difficult for a layman or a non-finance background person to make a decision and where to invest on. So, a investor, if it's new and wants to select a mutual fund, should always start with asset class. That is like equity, debt, or commodity. Which one he wants to invest in. For example, if a new investor, he's a young and he can take a risk and can wait for longer period of time, he must choose a equity mutual fund. Whereas someone wants to invest just for a 1 year can opt for debt mutual funds. This is asset class classification. So there would be at least removal of half of the funds from his basket, and he can select from the rest half. Similarly, when he goes and selects a scheme, one should read entirely about that scheme. He should understand it and check does is the investment strategy of that fund matches his profile or no. And thirdly, it's the most important one. The fund which is selected should be outperforming the benchmark and the peer when market is really good. When market is moving up, your fund should be doing much little better. And when the market is falling or in the bear market, your fund should be falling less. If you are doing able to select this kind of fund, you will be coming in across 4 to 5 funds in each category, which reduces your sample size to very small. A investor should never decide on a mutual fund scheme based on 6 months and 1 year's return. A good fund is one which you select on the basis of 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, and entire base of history's performance. Consistency is the key aim over here.
So,
One can,
Ajay, I'm so sorry, please continue.
yes, yeah. One can also visit our Finbingo app or website to get the handpicked mutual fund schemes in each category based on investment objectives.
Okay, so that is what I was actually concerned, that how exactly can we determine which mutual fund should one go for? Are there any handpicked schemes available that we can simply select and go for it?
Yeah, we have easy pick section in our apps and as well as on website where an investor who has no background of finance can go and select the mutual fund based on their specific requirement. For example, better than FD, or they want to invest in global brands, or they want for a wealth building approach.
Oh, so the handpicked section is already available. We can just simply go for it.
Yeah.
Lovely. Now we have the last question from our user. This comes from Dinesh, and he's asking, should I consider investing when the market is at a lifetime high or wait for a correction?
Yeah.
Well, this is what everyone has a question all the time.
Yeah, this is a very common question, and as it is always said, time in the market is always better than timing the market. And I truly a believer of this. I so you should be also. And so if for example, if I take in the past 6 months, we are all seen that market has readied like anything, and equity is providing a return of like 100%, and few mutual funds are providing 80-90% of return in past 1 year. And we have came across various investors waiting for market correction. There we always say that we are waiting for market correction, and they miss their this wonderful equity market rally. Whereas if someone would have consistently invested by SIPs on regular interval in this moving market as well, they might have easily earned a return of 40-50%, which is really good in this 1 years of time span. So instead of waiting, it is always better to be invested. If an investor misses even one best day in the returns, their returns can be reduced by 3 to 4% and leading to an average portfolio. Patience, discipline, and systematic approach towards investing can lead to wealth building. This is my goal and my saying for investor to our investors. Investors' behavior bias can lead to permanent loss. For example, if someone would have exited in March or April 2020, they have booked permanent losses in their portfolio. But if an investor had carried on and started invested at that period of time too, his return would be around 50% as on date. So, investors should always focus on asset allocation, financial goal, and just continually start investing.
So, Ajay, am I correct in saying that if I'm looking for a longer duration of investment, like a lump sum amount, and for a long time, I should wait for the market corrections? And if I'm looking for a short term investment or a small amount of investment, I can start anytime?
You're partially right. You can obviously wait for corrections, but waiting can be too long as well for lump sum investment. There can be a better alternative to this. For example, you can just do a lump sum in liquid funds and then start a systematic transfer plan in equity. So this would make your investment as on date, and it would be distributing over the period of time, and you will be not timing the market.
That's a miraculous solution that you gave. This was really nice to know.
Yeah.
So the questions by our users that they had mailed us are done. Even have live audience with us. If any one of you all have any questions, you all can unmute yourself and please go ahead by asking Ajay.
Hi, so Mrityunjay here. My question would be if we say that should I invest in equity mutual fund if it is for short term or long term, or should I invest in debt fund? Okay. So now stat wise, what I can see is that even for 1 year, equities have more returns than debt. So why should I go for debt funds for short term?
Okay. So if you're seeing by stats, you're seeing the past 1 year returns. I'll
Yeah, not considering last year,
Yeah,
2020.
not considering last 1 year, 2020, right? If you see, if someone would have invested in 2019 to till 2020, their returns of 1 year would be around 5 to 6% for just one period of time period. I'm just considering 1 year. So equity is a platform where movement are drastic and volatile in nature, or sometimes someone individual can have 100% return for that particular year due to just a very good timing, and someone could have just 1% return or even negative. So consistently, just based on facts, we can't conclude that for a 1 year equity is also good. Considering the volatility mainly, your portfolio returns can go up, down, and can move drastically against you. Whereas in debt, it is at least a consistent return of in the form of interest which you will be getting, which makes your portfolio stable. For example, if we take fixed income, FD only, your return would be confirmed at 6% or 5% at which rate you put on for 1 year period. But in equity, it can go 100, it can go negative 50, 25 returns, negative 10, whichever territory market moves on.
Okay, so does this question sound like if when I'm saying that I want to invest for short term, do I only mean that I want my money to be safe and I want to invest rather than like I want good returns and I want to invest, right?
Yeah, right. So for
Okay.
1 year, it is more about stability rather than earning great returns.
Okay.
Anyone else has any questions for Ajay?
Hi Ajay, this is Sunil here.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, Ajay. So in last month actually, I became a father actually. So I have a
Right,
daughter now.
right.
So what it is suggested? So shall I mean just to to save the funds for my daughter for future. So is it suggested to invest into triple? I mean, Sukanya Samruddhi Yojana or in equity funds?
Right. For her, we would suggest you go with the balance approach. That is, you start her investment in Sukanya Samriddhi, where you will be earning a stable return of around 7.4% offered by government and which are backed by government ultimately and safe instrument. And along with that, you should obviously start with ELSS or any equity mutual funds where you can generate a much better wealth along with volatility, of course. So your returns would be going good. You will be building wealth over there and might be beating inflation. So in the future, when she opt for education or for her marriages, she will be surely earning a good corpus over there and won't need to take a decision that she need to select on based on the cost.
Okay, so as I know, I think we can invest yearly only 1.5 lakh into the Sukanya Samruddhi area. So how much percent of 1.5 it is suggested to invest into Sukanya Samruddhi area?
Yeah. So this is from tax point of view. If you see, ETC provides you a benefit up to 1.5 lakhs, whereas you can also invest 1.5 lakhs in Sukanya Samriddhi. So if you remove the point of thinking of ETC as the only point, you should totally invest 1.5 in Sukanya Samriddhi even after you are investing in PPF, EPF, and other instruments for yourself. So where will be earning 7.4% for sure on 1.5 lakhs as a corpus, and you are not considering to save tax over there.
Okay, and how many years is the lock-in period for SSS?
Yeah. So lock-in period for that would be around based on the age of the girl child. So it would be getting matured when your girl child completes her 21 years of age. So it varies from each and every girl child when you opt for it. So if you have, as you mentioned, she was born 1 year, 1 month back, the lock-in period for her would be around for 21 years.
Oh, okay.
But yes, just to add on, she can surely withdraw for her higher education after the age of 18.
Okay, and how much percent I can withdraw?
Up to 50% over there.
Up to 50%. Okay. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Ajay.
Yeah, welcome.
All right, Ajay, let's wait for 1 or 2 more minutes if anyone else has any questions. Else, then we can end the webinar.
Sure.
Okay, so yeah, one more question. Like it might be silly, but in Wealth Builder, you say that we should keep this amount of emergency fund aside. Okay. So now, do you want to keep that money in idle situation, like in banks only, or I mean, like how do you suggest it on that?
Yeah. So basically, emergency fund, each and every individual should maintain, as it helps you to sustain any difficult period of time, such as job loss or salary cuts, especially which we all have observed during Corona period. Emergency fund should always be maintained in a safer instrument, for example, fixed deposit only or liquid mutual funds. It is the money for your emergency and not for earning returns. Aim of earning returns over emergency fund should be avoided totally by an investor.
Okay.
All right, Ajay. It seems all the questions have been addressed, and we don't have any further questions from any of the users. Thank you so much, Ajay, for providing this insightful information and helping all the users for their queries.
Thank you, Nidhi, for having me here.
You're most welcome. Thank you, everyone, for this wonderful session. Good evening.